where I'm at with my balls and my guns out. And then I said, you can stand behind me if you're afraid.
Did he hit you back?
No, I don't think he will. Fuck the government, by the way. Like, you don't owe these people. They're your fucking employees. We are not subjects of a fucking kingdom. We are citizens of a constitutional republic. Fuck these motherfuckers. You don't owe them any of your money. You don't owe them any of your fucking liberty. God damn it, man.
That's nuts, man.
It's pretty nuts, but the only reason it happens is because people allow it to happen. That's it.
Yeah.
Like every time you tell these motherfuckers no, and to be honest, this guy should file a civil complaint and sue the ATF and the Delaware State Police for.
They think they know it. I've been praying for somebody to save me. No one's heroic in my life, don't even matter. I know it, I know it, I know I'm hurt deep down, but can't show it. I never had a place to call my own. I never had a home. Ain't nobody calling my phone. Where you been, where you at, what's on your mind? They say every life precious, but nobody care about mine. I've been on the low, I've been taking my time. I feel like I'm out of my mind. It feel like my life ain't mine. I've been on the low, I've been taking my time. I feel like I'm out of my mind. It feel like my life ain't mine. I want you to be
All right, welcome back to the Death by Tyranny podcast. I did a couple of audio tests yesterday. Still working out the kinks. Unbeknownst to me, usually when you upload, or Ecamm is amazing for what I do. If you have a Mac or an Apple, anything, Ecamm's the way to go by far. But when you only make a video once a month, once a week, every time you open the damn software, you have a fucking update. And every time you do an update, it messes with your audio settings. Well, the last update, it fixed when you would go back and forth between audio sources. And for whatever time, this update didn't. So you would get a slight echo. But I haven't been doing a lot of screen sharing, so I didn't notice. That's the only time you really notice the real bad echoing, is when you have multiple audio sources coming from multiple pieces of gear. My intro music comes from the same piece of gear as the microphone does. But that's what gave it away. I was re-listening back to the audio as I normally do, and it just, the intro music sounded like utter dog shit. So I got to looking into it, did a screen share, did a couple audio tests, and that's what it was. Figured it out. So I guess I'm smarter than I thought I was. And now I guess you're wondering, don't you work third shift? What are you doing up at 9:45 in the morning? Well, my dog is a robot in the way that he thinks 7 o'clock in the morning, it is time to go on his 1 or 2 mile walk, and I can't go back to sleep. The kids are in school. So here I am. I didn't get as much cool. Yeah, that's not a thing. I didn't get as many things as I wanted to get for my camera. I got a cage, I got a side handle to help me with, being steadier on the shots for when I go out and try to do some cinematography. I got a little onboard light. I don't know if you guys can see that blue mist coming down. I don't know if I like the effect. I think I do. It's different. It gives it a different ambience, if you will. So if somebody watches this and they go, what the hell is that blue shit on your face? Get it out of here. Let me know. Or, hey, I think I can make it other things as well. And for those of you stopping by, wondering the latest and greatest on political and gun control news, well, there's not a lot going on. We can actually, I have nothing better to do. I don't like to smoke on camera. I know you guys catch me quite a bit doing it. So I'll try to vape, because it makes the lenses all, you don't want to do that. But because this audio mishaps seems to be happening when I do screen share, we might just do some of that screen sharing. And unfortunately for me, I might do it just because I love you guys and you might find it interesting. I hate Steven Crowder. I think the guy is just a schmuck. If you want to show somebody, and don't get me wrong, he is a good debater. He has a lot of political knowledge that's been shoved up his ass over the years. And he seems a little bit cooler now that he's had his falling out with the Jew Daily Wire over there. So maybe he's not as controlled. But I'm pretty sure he's still Team Israel all the way. Anyways, supposedly this morning he's going to be going over some type of mass shooting. Now, I don't think it's a new mass shooting. At least I hope it's not a new mass shooting. That would be terrible. But I did just wake up and I haven't had a chance to go through the news. And I know there's nobody watching right now, but I am literally on YouTube's homepage. That's never happened. I have never been on YouTube's homepage. That's insane. Maybe nobody's streaming at 9:45 Eastern time. That blows me away. Anyhow, back to what I was talking about. So Louder with Crowder, Steven Crowder is going to be doing this Jacksonville shooter versus trans Nashville shooter. I mean, if you guys want to kind of pick that apart, we can. I don't necessarily want to, because I think Steven Crowder is hot garbage. I think I got 2 viewers there for a second because I'm on YouTube's homepage. Now that I don't have anything to talk about, it's almost gets me down, because I'm, here I am finally getting my 5 seconds of fame. Well, with that being said, and since Steven Crowder hasn't started his bullshit, I guess we can kind of dive into a little bit about the channel. Death by Tyranny podcast. We are, I don't like the term right-wing extremist, but I find that we get put in that category quite a bit, for whatever reason. It might be because we've been to America First rallies, that we share a lot of the same opinions of people like Alex Jones and Nick Fuentes. However, I find myself just to be a very normal, lower middle class, Christian, heterosexual male. But for whatever reason, in 2023, these are extreme ideas. So I found it necessary to, at first, stream live on Facebook to my friends and family leading up to the 2020 election. So I've actually been doing this for quite some time now. It's just never really taken off. And some of my opinions have gotten me in hot water, which is funny in that way, because if certain people say it, it's the latest and greatest and hottest take on the planet. But when a normal person says it, it's the reason why you stop listening to them, why you stop following them. And I just don't know why that is. I would think that when it hits normalcyville, that would be a good thing. That is when you want to buy all in. Because for far too long, decades now, we have been heading in the opposite direction. The Overton window has not shifted away from our morals and beliefs. It has been relocated to a different fucking house. And so when people have hot takes, rather than just stop listening, maybe take a second and realize why it is you take your morals and beliefs from certain people and not others. And why you think it's so bad when normal people like me and you take on these beliefs, that it is so outrageous for us to speak it into existence, whether it be online, at work, just into the ether anywhere. And I can give you a couple examples. For the last 20 years, we have seen a heavy, violent, aggressive shift with feminism, to the point where they have nowhere else to go, to the point where it's going backwards, where feminism is so upheld onto this pedestal that grown adult-ass men would rather be women than they would be men. This is one of the things we talk about a lot on my channel, because I think it's one of the biggest issues we are faced with. Not only is it just not factual, our reality, but it makes it so we have no line to base our society on. There is no such thing as America going into anarchy, because we already are. There is no truth. There is no fallacy. There is just make-believe. And we've spoke about this a little bit before, but come the 2024 election, they only have two options. They let Trump win and try to control him like they did in 2016 and make his life even more hell, which would be the best outcome for both parties, the Democrats and the Republicans, whether they would like to believe that or not. Because as much as they try to prosecute him, as much as they go after him, the more support he gets. And it has backfired to the point where if President Trump is able to run, and I just don't see a future in where they can make that possible, because there will be such an uproar if he doesn't run. So when he does run, if he is not found to be the winner of that election, I think it is going to be at that point, if not the majority have already given up hope, the rest of them will. And in my experience in life, the only thing worse than fear is the absence of hope. And that is where we are going to circle this back to with this transgender movement. It's not even a feminism movement anymore. You are taking these young women with so much potential, and you're erasing any hope that they have of being great on their own as a woman, because that's no longer a thing. To be the first woman president is no longer a thing. To be the first U.S. gold medalist in a certain sport as a female is no longer a thing. Before Biden leaves office, he could transition into a woman, and he would be the first female president. That is where we are at in reality. Hence why we don't live in reality anymore. So I'm quite curious to see what Steven Crowder has to say about this transgender mass shooter, because, to be quite frank, I don't know what all you can say that would almost make where I would think Steven Crowder is coming from bad from his point of view. It's very simple. People who go out and commit mass shootings have a lot in common with people that are transgender. It's almost scary, actually. They both want to be things that they are not. They are typically outcast of society because they cannot find who they actually are, because they are too busy trying to be something they are not. And this leads them down a very dark, depressing path. So, honestly, I think that it's a very poor choice to say, look, there is a difference between this transgender mass shooter and this mass shooter. There really isn't. They both clearly have mental illnesses. Mental illness should always have been the focus at the front of all of these issues. Think about all the money, time, and resources we could have been spending on mental health, the youth, the education system, the way it's structured. If we would have went after that instead of scary black guns, how much further we would be in society. Would we have ever got to the point where mass shootings occur on a weekly basis? And in my opinion, the answer to that question is no. I don't understand why Stephen would feel the need to make a distinction between the two mental illnesses. What does it matter? One mental illness left unchecked led to a horrific mental illness that will forever horribly change people's lives. Now, if you want to have the conversation about the parents that is allowing this to go on, the mainstream media that keeps portraying this, glorifying this, all the social media influencers that are encouraging children to do this, we can have that conversation. Because those are the same influencers, the same mainstream news networks and TV shows that are promoting the transgender and mutilation of children are the same ones that are promoting these anti-logical, unnecessary gun control laws that they keep trying to pass. And time again, we can always point to their own cities where they allow these bills to pass. Chicago, New York, California. What do all three of these big, massive, overpopulated city-states, whatever, what do they have in common? They are trying to push feminism so far that it's backwards. They are trying to forcefully brainwash children into being transgender and gay and LGBT, whatever. I'm almost going to stop using that, because that's what they want you to buy in to their mental illness. They have given it a name. They have deemed it that it is not a mental illness. Why should we play along in their make-believe story? When have they ever given us the benefit of the doubt? When have they ever looked at our arguments and took them from the best standpoint? They have never. If you don't believe me, try having a conversation about gun control with a liberal. And I promise you, they do not understand the concept of a good guy with a gun stopping a bad guy with a gun. They only hear more guns, more minorities die. That's the only thing that passes through their brain. But in reverse, when they have conversations about little boys who grew up with sisters, who just wanted to belong, so they picked up a Barbie doll, must now be forcefully injected with chemicals to make their bodies stop growing as normal. God knows what consequences mentally this has on their brain growing. They don't want to hear it. And I would like to think, as conservatives, for the last 30 years, the reason why we didn't put an abrupt stop to this is because we were trying to take them at their best point. We were trying to say, okay, this is an issue. We agree. We don't agree on how to handle it, but let's see how your way works. We'll see how our way works, and we'll see what the best outcome is for the children. And I think in the last 20 years, it's pretty obvious there was no best outcome for the children. The best outcome from the children was the 50, 60 years beforehand, where you seen the little boy play with the Barbie. You thought nothing of it. At most, you said, hey, would you rather have a G.I. Joe, Hot Wheels, whatever? Just don't even make a big deal about it. Let the boy continue to grow up as a boy, as he should. And the moment we started interfering with that more than nature intended is when it all fell apart. And whether it be because conservatives decided to take liberals at their best potential meaning, or we were too afraid of being called racist, or bigots, or monsters, the time has come where that has passed. It is no longer about how you feel about the names you are being called. It is time to take action now. It is time to do what is right and stop the people who are doing what is wrong. And there isn't going to be the amount of people with the backbone to do that you think there's going to be. And in a lot of cases, it's going to surprise you, the people who don't have the backbone to do it. Steven Crowder is a great example. He is an entertainer. He knows how to entertain. He knows how to take an awkward situation and make it humorous or entertaining. But I have seen very little evidence of him going into enemy territory and being a victor. And I don't mean, getting a burn for a clip on TikTok. I mean going into a liberal, progressive, psychotic audience, making his points so flawlessly that he leaves to the point where he has changed quite a few people in that room's mind. Because that's not what he's there to do. Steven Crowder is there to take advantage of the conservatives who have already taken a red pill. In some cases, they're starting to take black pills. They don't see any more hope. That's what I'm talking about come Election Day 2024. No matter how you see it, you cannot disagree that if Trump is not the winner, that there is going to be a loss and a distrust in the system like we have never seen before. It will be a point of no return. There will have to be something done after that point. Whether it be violent, whether it be peaceful divorce, whether you have a situation like during COVID where you had the people who believed in all the crazy nonsense with the mask and stupid shit, and then you had the people that just said no. Natural immunity is good enough. It always has been. We'll see where we go from there. We're not shutting down. We have to survive. It's our lives. It's our risk. We'll take it. Maybe we'll be in a situation where that occurs, where we no longer associate with the people that are clinically insane, with the people who can see what Biden has done in the last 3 years and still believe that there is enough evidence there that he is that popular, that he can beat Trump for a second time. During the 2020 election, there were a lot of libertarians, maybe even people who claim to belong to the GOP, a Republican, a conservative, that had a bad taste of Trump. But that is changing. It is changing en masse. The more they witch hunt this guy, the more they want to vote for him. It's there's a name for it. I just always forget it. It's when you try to stop something, and the harder you try to stop it, the more it inevitably happens anyway. The Streisand effect. There you go. I don't know why I forgot that for a second. But that's what you see what is happening with Trump now. It is very much the Streisand effect. They are saying, no, Trump cannot run. Trump is a criminal. We don't know how yet, but we will stop him from running. It will be illegal for Donald J. Trump to run in the 2024 presidential race. And the more this spews from their mouth, the more people want to vote for him. The more people that would have a week or two ago voted just the same, or maybe even rather have voted for DeSantis, no longer wants to vote for DeSantis. And now that's a multitude of reasons, but the main reason is because the mainstream media and the DNC is telling them they cannot vote for Trump. So it makes them want to do it even more. Now, since we got time, and I do believe I'm still, you know what? I'm going to refresh. Let's just see if we're still on the, hey, we're still on YouTube's homepage. That's awesome. Maybe I got 1 or 2 viewers over before Steven Crowder's stupid shit started. Okay, so it's unfortunate. It would be the time that I didn't write out a script or nothing's happening for me to talk about that I would be on YouTube's home screen. But since there's not that many viewers anyways, if any, we'll go ahead and we'll jump over to screen share. That way I can make sure that the audio from the screen share isn't... I fixed the echoing issues from earlier. Hopefully the intro music sounded okay. And we can see what he's talking about. If there's a new mass shooting, we can see what's going on with there. Not to give it any kind of publicity, but just to, you know, make sure that the threat stopped. If there's any information that we can learn from this to prevent it from happening again. And while we're also doing that, I can show you in live time why this guy, Steven Crowder, is kind of a joke. Unless he wants to offer me a job, there's always a number. No, I'm just kidding. There's not a number. Only if he let me if he said, I'll give you $2 million, you're not under any kind of slavery clause like the rest of my employees. You can say whatever you want, and you can personally go out and verbally attack Israel every single day. Then I might do it, but that's very doubtful. So let's switch on over to screen share. See? Oh, right there I am. I'll be damned. Let the record show.
I told them to dump it. I want to make sure they're on their toes. We're talking about that. Donald Trump can't stop losing with the merchandise of his
He does this stupid
like
shit
to really
too,
get to today. You know, obviously it's a tragedy what happened in Jacksonville. Okay, people will say, "Oh, thoughts and prayers. It's stupid. You need to ban guns." Shut up. But I do think it's interesting to look at the dynamic between Nashville, what happened, where we had a radical gender theorist, and what's happened in Jacksonville, based on the information we have, someone who probably is a disturbed, a mentally deranged racist. You don't live in a free country if you have laws, but if the laws are applied equally. And the same thing with the standards of media, right? We kind of have trials, but we also have trial by public opinion right now. Yeah. And that's what we're seeing with President Trump. Which, the question of the day, what would President Donald Trump, some people call him former president, some people call him sitting president, I call him sitting president, what would he have to do for you to not vote for him at this point? What would he need to do for you to not vote for him? And I don't just mean in the primary. You can vote for whoever,
Listen, this is what I'm talking about. This guy is spewing shit that people like me have been saying for days now, months now, years now. He's not saying anything new. He's going around just like every other political commentary person on YouTube, not making up his own mind, trying to take what he can from the more extreme people, water it down, and put a little bit of humor in there. And that's what this guy does. And he's making millions of dollars. I don't even want the money. I wish I could take half of his viewers so they would fucking know better. Look at this stupid shirt. Fight like hell? Really? When have you ever? Get the fuck out of here. And then he's always on this fucking Rumble rant. Yet, where's all your fucking viewers at, Steven? It's YouTube. And then he does this, what I'm getting ready to say is too naughty for YouTube. You know what people who actually have balls do? If you're that on the Rumble train, stop fucking streaming on YouTube. And if you're not afraid to get deplatformed off of YouTube, don't do the stupid Rumble screen. Say what you gotta say and leave it on YouTube.
in the general.
You read my mind.
Yeah. I'll be talking about that and more. Gerald A., number 2. How are you, sir?
I am doing well. I'm happy to be back, and this is a normal week. Last week was a little crazy, but it was fun.
Man, I was trying to bring the energy up because it's Monday morning, and you went straight to NPR News Update.
I'm doing fine, Steven. How are you? Did you have a good weekend?
We're going today to the Poughkeepsie Playhouse to hear this jazz funk afro duo.
That's a thing?
I don't know. I listen to NPR because I love state-run media.
There you go. So you're doing well.
I'm doing fine.
Prickly?
Yeah. No, I'm doing fine. Okay. It was a very, very. So do you guys ever do this? I had a really, really boring weekend where because plans were kind of mixed up.
Right.
So I made sure that I just sat around the house doing nothing. So by the end, I was like a caged animal going, I want to go back to work. Yeah, and now I don't. And in third chair, when you hear this, you know who it is. You love him. He's going to be this Saturday, September 23rd at the Rosalind.
I don't even know if I can do this, dude. It's going to be so awful. Like, he's not getting into anything that's of any substance or importance at all. Let's See if he's talking about it.
These are basically spherical Captain Crunches. I don't know why it's a silly place, and I hope that someday we nuke it. Okay.
Whoa! You don't want to waste the bomb.
And he's sponsored by Walther. Come on. If there's any gun people watching this, like, what an abstract, like, of all the gun companies that you could have been sponsored by, Walther.
They used to get all their weed from Canada, though.
Yeah, now they just get it from anywhere.
Yeah, the mystery van is...
Unless you're in a weed legal state. I don't know if you know this, so they ban THC from hemp.
Really?
Yeah,
What?
Can YouTube take you down if you're stream sniping? I would imagine so. I don't know that Crowder cares anymore about YouTube and people stream. To me, I think it's ridiculous. I think you should let people stream snipe you. And maybe I'm using the wrong terminology here, but let's say nobody's watching Steven, but they decide to watch me, but I'm playing Steven on my stream. Then, and hence you're getting more eyeballs. You might not get the revenue, but I promise you the exposure probably outweighs the revenue at that point.
Because I don't know if you know, Big Weed is always looking out for you. It hasn't evolved into another big pharma. No, it's true. There's like 11 states where the THC from hemp is illegal. It's legal from cannabis, legal from marijuana, and those states are states where marijuana is legal because they can't tax it and regulate it. Comment if you guys know that. And you know what? Right now, this is one of the few times I'll ask if you're on Rumble. Go and hit like on YouTube. This week we're going to be doing an experiment because of the shadow banning. So hit like on YouTube. We want to see how that affects the algorithm. Just as many of you, boom, go hit like, then go back to Rumble because we're going to be using that dump button a lot. Because you might need to hit this for YouTube. They are coming for your children. Remember when everyone said that was a slippery slope? Well, it's really more of a lubed slope. It's an astroglided slope. Because, and if you have kids, they shouldn't be here watching this, right? We want you to see the evil that is out there in the world so that you can protect your family from it. This is not a G-rated show. Not a trigger warning, just age appropriate. Here are some Philly bike riders who get naked and, you know, they say from the mouths of babes. I want you to watch this until the end and hear what the little child asks. And you know what? They're more reasonable than the queer party friends on the bikes.
You guys riding without a seat.
Utah, give me 2.
They're all gross.
Mom, I have a question. Why is this?
What was the point of that? You tell me. What was the point of that? No, you know what? We're done with this. We're done with Crowder. I can't take it. I'm sorry. I tried. I can't take it. I thought he was going to talk about a more serious topic other than this lame, let's make fun of gay pride parades all day long. Like, I get it. I'm on board with the anti-LGBTQ bullshit. But it's the same thing every single day with conservative YouTube, man. Is there nothing better else to do than to actually go to these gay pride events? We know what they look like. We know kids should not be there, but they are. Why don't you do something more relevant with your time? Like go to Congress, talk to your local representatives, get bills wrote up that stop these children from being able to go to these gay pride events. But that doesn't help their content. That's why they keep doing it. They want the kids to go to the gay pride events because then they can go to the gay pride events and show up like they're actually fucking doing something. And I can't do it no more with him. And look, we'll go back one more time, but only to prove a point. Showing nothing of some substance at all. You got weirdos riding bikes. This happens all day long in California. This doesn't even look like a gay pride event. This just looks like California. Look at the response though.
I have a question. Why is this?
They think it's fucking funny. Do you really think it's fucking funny at this point? You didn't even show the clip beyond the point. For all we know, that family could have been in favor of what was going on, and it could have been a legitimate question that those parents could have then lied to that little girl about, and we would never know the difference. They only took that clip out of context to be funny. And I just don't find that shit funny anymore. And I don't think what conservative YouTube and alternative media is doing now is worth anything other than entertainment. Maybe that's why my podcast doesn't get views, is because I don't try to be entertaining in the way that it's like funny. I don't want to be funny. Shocking, maybe. Offensive, absolutely. Sometimes if it's necessary, but I don't want it to be funny. At the beginning when we were watching, if you notice, Stephen called them queers. Now, he's trying to say this to be offensive, but unbeknownst to him, this is a word that they have adopted, and it just means strange. And he thinks that he's hurting the gay community by calling them queers. And I've said this 1,000 times. They are going to be aggressive. They are going to be offensive. They are going to say things to hurt us. They are physically assaulting and brainwashing our children. Yet, just so, for as much as Steven Crowder says he does not care that he is on YouTube, he won't call them fags. Just call them fags. At least at that point, it'll burn them up to the point where you might actually spark a real conversation on just more than your fucking shitty YouTube channel. And I know that's not saying much coming from my extra small shitty YouTube channel, but at least I'm not trying to make a fucking joke about this shit. It blows me away. When you do that, you know what the outcome of that is? It isn't that younger, more center-aisled people start watching your show. It's that you get people that is that demographic that are going to the more conservative churches and asking their preachers and their priests why gay people can't go to their churches. That's how you get gay priests and preachers now. Is because it's been such a joke for so fucking long, and everybody's afraid to actually do anything. And it blows me away. So Trump mugshot backfires. Oh my God, dude. So first off, he's already changed his fucking title. This makes me mad. If you look up the video I did yesterday, this didn't start until 10 p.m. ESP. I started at like 9 ESP. First off, this wasn't the title of his video, and I spoke about this exact thing, that the Trump mugshot and them trying to put him in jail backfired. The whole video I did yesterday was this. So I just don't understand why you have somebody like Steven Crowder. Maybe I'm a hater. I don't know. 5.8 million subscribers. For what? I was covering this yesterday. And more importantly than that, I was covering this a year ago that said the more they attack Trump, the more people are going to want to vote for him. And that's exactly what happened. I said Trump doesn't need to go to the debates. It would be nice to hear him debate because that's his element. That's when you get the best out of Trump. But he didn't need to be there because his absence was going to make the other candidates debating there look like clowns. time and time again, these people keep saying that what Trump is planning and what he is doing is missteps, but he nails every single time. And then you have Steven Crowder making videos about it 2 or 3 days later. He's not doing anything to fight against the LGBT fucking genocide of our children. He's not doing anything that's cutting edge or breaking news. He only has people on that won't get him banned off of YouTube. He would never have somebody like Nick Fuentes on. He says it's because they disagree. That's not true. He's had plenty of people on his show that he disagrees with way more than Nick Fuentes. He won't do it because he doesn't like Nick Fuentes. And on top of that, it's not only just because he doesn't like it, it's because he knows if he has Nick Fuentes on his YouTube channel, YouTube would strike Crowder's down. For as much as Crowder says he does not want he doesn't want to be on YouTube, he doesn't need it, he has Mud Club, all this, da 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 da. If you pay attention, he does everything and anything he can possibly do to make sure that he keeps his YouTube channel. So he's got to be making more money than he's letting on with YouTube. He says he's not monetized, but I bet you that Walter sponsorship ain't paying for fucking Rumble or Mug Club. They're paying for them YouTube views is what they're paying for. God, fucking conservative. This is the fight we have to fight right now. These people are jokes. And then, you know, the worst part, the people that are actually pretending like they're doing something political are always too late, unsincere, or make a joke out of it. And if you go to the other party that you would think would be on our side, the gun community, they don't want anything to do with it if you say anything about Christianity. And it's like, we all have a common enemy that wants to take our guns, destroy our religion, are doing a great job at both of those things while destroying our country. Yet we can't put our differences aside for a moment. We can't fucking take a little bit of awkwardness to say something that actually has some fucking impact. Oh my God. Well, I guess that's enough for my 15 seconds of fame. Like I said, we'll do one last screen share. That's pretty cool. Got me there on the YouTube homepage. Oh my God. Yeah. So head on over, subscribe. Says one's watching, but pretty sure that's me. So, but yeah, do me a favor, head over, subscribe, Twitter, YouTube. Call somebody a faggot today. Do something that means something. Damn, man. It's all a fucking joke. Love you guys. Let me know what you think about the blue little fucking doodads. God bless America first. Peace, y'all.